And welcome back to the Study Hack series. This is the 40th study hack in the series, and in this one we'll be tackling the question, how do champions practice? Okay, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell button so you can keep on getting notifications about free study advice. So again, we're going to start with a quote. This is, "Don't practice until you get it right, practice until you can't get it wrong." That is by Katie Ledecky. Okay, again, I'm going to show this through an example. So imagine you have a GCSE math student who is practicing a topic like Pythagoras. Okay, and essentially what some students will do with Pythagoras or any topic is they will learn the method for the topic and they will do a few questions to solidify that method, so to practice that. Okay, but the problem is they're not practicing until they can't get it wrong. What they're doing is they're practicing until they get it right. So they get it right a few times and they think, okay, I know it. Okay, they think they've got it in their head. The problem is maybe a week later or even a few days later, or when the test is, that question comes up and they've forgotten how to do it. Okay, or they get the question wrong. You know, they use the wrong method. So what should you do then? What do the best students do that I've noticed over the years? They practice so many times and they do it so that they reach a point where they can't get it wrong. They practice it, they do as many questions as it takes, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 questions, however many questions on that topic that they need to do, they will do until they've basically got it perfect. So again, less able students, they practice maybe a few times and they've got it right, okay, they'll leave it, they'll move on to something else. The best students will practice so many times, however many questions it takes, and they'll reach a point they cannot get any questions pretty much on that topic wrong. And so that's a big lesson, you know, that you can learn from these champions. You know, don't practice until you get it right, practice until you can't get it wrong. Keep going, keep practicing. Don't just stop after you've gotten a few questions right. That doesn't necessarily mean or prove to you that you understand that method or that content really well. Do as many questions as you possibly can. Okay, and that's why I say set question targets. So like, okay, I'm going to do the entire page, you know, on this topic. I'm going to do the entire booklet on this topic, in which case you may have to do 50, 60, 70, however many questions. But at least then it's not only solidified in terms of your method, you understand how to do it, but also when you do more questions, you're going to remember it for a longer period of time. So instead of remembering that method or that technique for 1 week, you've remembered it now for maybe a few months. Okay? So when you revisit that, when you're revising the test, it's going to come a lot more naturally to you. You're going to remember a lot more of it. So then again, when you revisit, you're going to have to do less work on it because it's a lot more automatic for you. You understand exactly what you have to do. Okay? So repetition is so important. Keep repeating over and over and over again until things become automatic. Until like you reach a state where you don't really have to think. You just enter a zone, you see a question, and bang, you know exactly what to do in that question. And it just becomes so much easier that way. Not only will it become easier, you'll pick up a lot more marks, and your skill level in general will go up. You know, when it's been proven scientifically that when you repeat things over and over again, and you practice them over and over again, what happens is connections start forming in your brain, solid, strong connections that actually help you remember that a lot better. Okay, so that is why it's so important to keep practicing and do as much practice as possible. So it becomes a lot more naturally to you. It's like second nature. Okay, so the action step for this study hack will be to do as many questions on a topic as possible, so that method or the technique or for whatever subject it is becomes sort of like automatic for you. Like you've repeated it so many times that you pretty much can't get that method or technique wrong. And that is the state that you have to reach. Okay, so even if you need to set question targets, or say I'm going to complete this entire page or these entire 2 pages, or I'm going to complete the entire booklet of questions, or I'm going to complete all of the past paper questions on this specific topic. And by doing that, when you see that question in an exam, you're far more likely to get that right, or a similar question, yeah? And your skill level in general will just skyrocket and go a lot higher if you practice until you can't get it wrong. as opposed to practicing until you get it right a few times. Okay, so please like this video, comment down below, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel so you keep on getting free study advice, and I will see you in the next study hack.